All right, this is the live stream. Live stream conclusion. Live stream conclusion. That's what's going on. All right. So at this time, pretty much everything that I've warned people about has occurred. Practically stepwise. Heel to toe. You now have the Chinese wild goose chase unfolding in the United States, where the elements of the corrupt government are following their orders to identify Chinese saying this. Do you know what happens next? You're very close to the Chinese war. Can you hear me or what? Okay, it's choppy. All right, I'm gonna move. This is the last time I'm doing this. Last time we're concluding the live streams. Okay, how about now? How's it going now? Better? Okay. All right, please try to listen, you guys. I'll open up for questions at the end. Okay? The first thing, okay, let's do it like this. Let's do it kind of in logical order. So first, why are the live streams concluding? The live streams are concluding because if I keep on doing this, basically the pattern that would unfold is that I would just be like saying like, okay, now the Chinese war is going to start. Okay, now China is going to, fucking like kill a bunch of military age males, and you guys are going to watch all your friends die, and then it'd be like, okay, now China is going to be, taking parts of the United States, or whatever the thing is beyond that. It's just going to unfold into that, and it's going to be like, okay, now China is going to enter your home and have their way with your wife. Like, and we're just going to go. Hopefully, it won't be that extreme. I'm just saying, you get the idea, right? Like I was trying. What I was trying to do, what my goal was with the live stream, was to put out information to get the military-age males that are going to be fighting the war against China aware of what's going on, so they know not to fight China. That is my goal. Because the people that are trying to make us go to China are also running YouTube and every other fucking social media. They block it, obviously. That is the reason that they run social media is because you guys are on it, which is also the reason that I'm here. So I'd rather not do social media at all, but this is the most direct way to reach everyone in an easy way that they can handle. You know what I mean? You get severe dropout when you go outside of like a mainstay social media. So YouTube makes sense. I'm familiar with it. So I did live streams on here, right? Now, the live streams are still, for the most part, by the vast majority of people, they view it as like entertainment while they're watching the shit that I'm saying unfold. I was hoping that somehow doing the live streams and showing you guys shit that was like gonna unfold in front of your eyes, that it would somehow motivate you guys to use your time to try to constructively get ahead of this, like while you still can, in a non-violent way. because you can't really win with. I mean, theoretically, I guess you could always win with violence, but not the way that you guys fight. It's not gonna work, and it's not the right way anyway. But that's the way that conventional nation states are set up. But one of the things that I was trying to flesh out for you guys when I was doing these streams was to understand that the traditional mass supply, mass industrialization technique for fighting war is completely fake. So it's not real at all. Yes, people die, and yes, you make a lot of there's a lot of milling and lathe work that goes on, and a lot of refining and a lot of extraction out of mines and shit. That doesn't mean that you win, and that's the biggest thing that's really difficult for people, especially from like the World War II generation and like well, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. There's probably people everywhere from every generation that understand this, but they're not very vocal, and it's probably because they know how serious it is, the situation, and so they're probably just not vocal about it. But most people do not have an understanding that the way that warfare is conducted is fake, right? The entire way that any war is won is through mass populations that are not engaging in the conflict. Okay, the fighters are just they're like little machines that they send out to do what they want to be done, right? And then the pool around them on the outside of the fighting is filled up with little brains that come together and create productivity in order to pour energy into the warfighting effort. And that is the way that wars are won, not by the actual mechanical acts that are done in war. Just so you know, the mechanical acts that are done in war are they're just simply the interface of change taking place, instantly, via violence. That's what it is. And so therefore, when you use violence as your primary go-to, which is what I think most people in the United States, what they're thinking right now is they see how bad things are getting, and they know it's going to get worse. And their plan is to like hunker down with a rifle and then like shoot the bad guys when they come. Now, I'm not saying that you're in the wrong there, right? Like if somebody's coming to get you, and if you're defending yourself, that's your choice, And there's nobody, if somebody's trying to take your life, they don't have any, right to do so, because you're both here, you're both breathing, you're both born, right? Now, what I am saying, it's not an ethical consideration. What I am saying is that you're not going to win doing that. You're not going to win on the individual level, and you're not going to win as a nation state doing that either. The way that you're going to win is to change the productivity of the populations and turn their fuel away from money and get ownership of actual like material that people use decentralized into the individual family and home. Now, there's about 1 million different avenues of approach to doing that, ranging from 100% peaceful to 100% violent. And unfortunately, because of how deceived we are, we typically wait and don't do anything. Even in the peaceful realm, we don't speak out. We don't put our necks on the line. We get very nervous. Well, I guess that what I'm trying to tell you is that the entire construction of what would make you nervous, like the feeling that everybody's out against me, and like people don't support being free and things like that, that is all synthesized. So that is not what people really feel. It's what people have been tricked to feel, and that is what is shown on television and media in order to make you give up before you start. Because if they can make you give up before you start, before you put any energy towards it, that's the most efficient way for you to be defeated, is for you to not act. And you can do anything that you want. You can take any path and do anything that you want, anything at all, except the path that you never even take because you're unwilling to go down it, or because you never look at it because you're so distracted with another path, and so you never turn your head to look and see that a path is available in the way that you would have rather gone. That kind of path, the one that you don't take, that is the only one that is impossible. It's the only one, right? But it's not impossible because you can't go down it. It's impossible because you're, for whatever reason, whether because you're tricked or because you're unwilling, it's only impossible because you're not going to go down it, right? That's it. That's the only thing that's off limits. Now, the media is a huge problem, and so are social media, and so are the financial institutions. And these are the things that are, in the immediacy, destroying the United States. MSM, centralized internet, centralized broadcasting, and centralized social media, centralized banking, and corrupt politicians. That is what is standing. That is what is standing in the way of people being able to have free countries. All those things are driven by money, right? By the current economic system. So if you there is just there's no clean or easy way to put it. Like, your problem is economic, and the problem with the economic system that you're in is not a matter of like, there's too many regulations here, there's not enough here, there's not, it's not that. That is totally tangential and a deep misunderstanding of what's going on here. The foundational problem with economics is that it's not a altruistic system at all, in its design or in its capability. It never is. It's an absolute apex system that has no ethic whatsoever, and it doesn't matter who's running it. It will turn back into where it was, no matter what you do. So if you go and if you think that like we're gonna win by like fighting the traditional war and then taking over the Fed, you're not gonna get there. First of all, if you could get there, let's say that you were a constitutional person, constitutionally minded. I'm saying this from a reference, a frame of perspective of an American citizen that's a constitutionalist, which is one of the types of people that would not like what's going on right now. If that's you, and if you somehow, through the traditional means, could take over the money supply, okay, and then you put in, additional amendments in the Constitution stating like this money will always be used for constitutional purposes, yada yada yada, it's going to fail every single time, and it's only a matter of time, okay? And then it's going to revert back to the way that it was, okay? And this is the essence of the actual problem. The actual problem is that the monetary system that humanity has accepted as if it's oxygen, as if it's like necessary oxygen or water that you have to have, this is completely untrue. Not only is it not necessary, it's the only thing that's killing you. It is killing you everywhere in the world. The entire humanity is being enslaved by their agreement to participate in the economic system that is now global. And it's a very old system. It doesn't just go back to, the Federal Reserve at the beginning of the 20th century. It doesn't go back to that. It doesn't just go back to the period of absolutism. It's before that, right? Because the way that economics work is an abstract mathematical certainty. And they're always an apex, and whoever started the apex and has the understanding and awareness of what's really going on will maintain control of the apex forever. And you can never get out of it. As long as they have communication between them and they're able to maintain the apex position of the economic system, which is global, which is all economics, it doesn't matter if you make a colonial script, it doesn't matter if you make a Bitcoin, it doesn't matter what the fuck you make, because as soon as you trade into what is actually running shit, which are the agreeable trade networks that are set up worldwide and that have been there for a very, very fucking long time. As soon as you dip your toe into that, it starts to take over and poison your isolated economic system, no matter what. And it is only a matter of time until you lose it. And then once you lose it, even if think that you're in charge of it right now, because you do a little takeover with expend a bunch of energy and a bunch of lives and change your history forever, and then at the end of the day, you're going to lose it again. It's happened every single time in human history, forever, for all recorded history. This is the most important thing to understand in practicality, in terms of nuts and bolts and what people see in the physical world, like what they're working with and negotiating with in their brain when they're trying to problem solve and understand the situation. You cannot have what is going on right now, which is, I could only describe as absolute inversion insanity. You cannot have it. It cannot take place without a fuel. Well, there's no natural fuel because it's fucking bad for everybody. It's bad for the people that think they're on the upshot of the inversion, sociological upheaval. It's bad for the people that are suffering. It's bad for fucking economics. It's bad for fucking everything. The only thing that does well is the apex, and that's it. That's all that it is. And by well, I don't even mean like profit. I'm not talking about profit here. I'm talking about maintaining position while squeezing everything, including themselves, dumping money into, making a corrupt chain of command that is, obviously very weak, like in terms of ethic and like what drives them. Their only blood source is the fucking money. That's it. That is the blood source of all the corruption. If that goes away, they have nothing at all. The corrupt politicians go away. The fucking subversive schools go away. Everything fucking goes away. All the things that are fucking with you and causing problems, if you get the fucking blood of the money away. You got to get it out, or else you don't have any chance at all. Okay? Now, in terms of the live streams and what I've been trying to warn you guys about, I've been trying to warn you guys about what's coming. And, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. I'm going to tell you that. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do what is right. You should do what's right. But you guys aren't going to make it. You're not going to make it as a people. You're not going to make it as a country. Like, the United States is going to fall because you're too far behind and you're unwilling to just open your eyes. It's fine. Dark, just let them go. It's fine. If you put somebody in timeout, leave them in fucking timeout. If they want to talk, they can say whatever the fuck they want to. This is the last time they're going to be able to say it. I don't give a fuck. Too black-pilled? No, I'm not too black-pilled. I'm trying to tell you guys that you don't have any fucking slack. Like, you guys are operating like you have a fucking rope with a bunch of slack on it. You don't. They fucking cut your line way the fuck up the rope where you're climbing up to and you don't know it. And you're just pulling down a rope right now thinking that you're going to go somewhere. You're not going to. And the only reason is because you don't realize that you don't need to climb up the fucking mountain. You just stay where the fuck you're at. And you can fucking live your life there. If you can fight from there, you can do that. You can't fucking climb up the rope. Okay? It's already cut from the top. You're not going to make it up to the top. Okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And your country is going to try as hard as it possibly can to get to the top, and you're going to watch it destroy them. You're going to watch it destroy your country. And it's going to be really tough to watch because there's a lot of people all over the world that were hoping that the United States was going to be able to save the day. Like, although people hate the United States now, you know, because of what's happened to it, there are still a lot of people everywhere that look to us as the fucking last, like, the last fucking chance, right? All over the world, people look to the United States as the last chance. And they're not going to fucking get it. They may get it from individuals that are here, but they're not going to get it from a nation. That's for sure. Now, the reason that I'm stopping the live streams, it's because this is not effective. Like, what I'm doing is not effective. It is and it's causing way too much focus on me. And I have so little to do with what's going on. All I'm trying to do is give you information. I'm trying to do it. My goal is to try to do it in a way that was engaging enough for you guys to be able to absorb it, you know? But it gets turned around to focus on me over and over and over again. And it's not going to help, you know? It's like, it's not productive. And I'm not even going to be here. You know what I mean? Like, there's virtually no way that I'm going to make it through this thing to the other side. So, you know, like chances being chances, it's just a fucking timeline. If the fucking conflicts that come out and the, like, I mean, you're going to get, first of all, you should understand that you're going to get more viruses. So, like, the coronavirus is not the only virus. You're going to get several waves of viruses, and they're going to get progressively worse. And the government's going to demand progressively more dramatic reactions to them from the public, and the fucking public is going to get them because every single time that a virus comes out, it's more people are going to die, and it's going to be more severe, and people are going to get so fucking scared, and so you're going to see exactly what people's hearts are made of, and they're going to fucking sell you out. You know what I mean? And they're going to fucking tell you to put on your fucking butt plug on your face or whatever the fuck they've got that they're telling you to do. You're going to have people that are going to get angry at you when you don't do it and want you to get, like, arrested and shit. And they'll fucking come and arrest you. Like, that's how bad it's going to get in terms of viruses. You're going to have fucking, it's going to get so bad that you're going to have issues with, like, being able to dispose of bodies. That's how fucking bad it's going to get. Okay? So coronavirus is not the only virus, okay? There are multiple. You're going to have another one for sure, and you're definitely going to have a third one. It depends on how severe they are and how much it takes for what happens. But you're definitely going to get a third one, okay? So you've got another one coming that's going to be coming up. I don't know how long. And then you're going to have a third one after that. And they're going to be progressively worse each time. And they're going to affect different things. They're going to affect different parts of commerce. They're going to affect different parts of society. You're going to have a fucking engagement with China. It's going to be really bad. It's going to kill a shitload of people that are between the ages of 17 and like 40. It's going to kill a lot of males that are in that age. And then you're going to be left with, like, a brainwashed society of socialized women and children. And they're going to fucking have their way with them. I'm talking about the government. Okay? And you definitely, I don't know if they're going to still call it the United States when they get done with that. But if you were still alive when this happens, you're not going to fucking see any United States. I'll tell you that. You're going to look right at it and you're like, this is not the United States. Because that is where you're going. Right now, your politicians are so fucking corrupt that they are championing this war with China on both sides. You guys should be, I mean, if you live in fucking DC, you should be out there with fucking pitchforks. You know? I mean, I guess it's just kind of it's just the way that it is, you know? Like, we're just going to have to sit here until, like, people start dying, and then people don't have any choice, and they're just going to get violent and start murdering everybody. You know, whether it be in whether it be in like a violent controlled manner where they're reacting to like a false flag, or whether it be just like people are suffering so bad that they don't care anymore and they lose rationality and just start fighting, you know? I mean, whatever it's going to be, I guess that's what you're going to have to wait for. But this is the thing, right? This is the thing. You don't need my leadership at all, because everything that I'm doing are things that you can see yourself, and they're steps that you can take yourself. And you can be a leader. You can go out and look at things the way they are, and you can voice that to people and abandon the need for self material fulfillment, like where people attempt to constantly co-opt things. They take an idea or something that they want to say, and they try to round it into like why it makes them positive, why it makes them look good, why it like increases their fucking, you know, knowledge portfolio, or their fucking value portfolio, or whatever it is that is like the little subconscious game that people are playing. If you let go of that, and if you just try to show people what is reality, they will recognize it on their own. You know, they will recognize it. And that is the quality of power not being a possessive trait. Like power or connection between people or talent, all of these things are not possessive traits. People confuse them. They have nothing to do with possession. They have everything to do with reflection. You're reflecting something that people are designed to automatically detect and to accept, you know, and that is the game of the construction of creation is a pursuit of truth. And the more true that something is, the more energy and motive a person will have to approach and pursue it, right? The less true that it is, now you can trick people, and then they'll you know, pursue something false for a time, but then it just goes away, right? Like if you make it a non-selfish endeavor, and you try to warn people, it will spread. They will accept it, and it will spread. Okay? You guys have all the evidence that you need to know that Black Lives Matter is completely fake. You have all the evidence that you need to know that coronavirus was manufactured by people in the U.S. government. You have all the information you need to know that the migration shit is all fake. It's just set up by people. You have all the information that you need to know that you have unproportional representation in your government that is not matching the constituency, and that requires, you know, if you're going to have a system where you have any kind of accountability of anybody that's there. I'm not saying that's even correct. I'm just saying that's what you're doing right now. It's just, you know, fucking harebrained wacko town, and it has no basis in reality. The actual reality is you have substantial imbalance of power in the government, you know, and you're still paying taxes, right? Like all your taxes are they're just taking them from you, right? You don't even, I mean, there isn't even really any money. They're just, it's just like a quota. And then they're just like borrowing off of your existence that you're tied into, right? And then they're, you know what they're doing with it? They're using it against you. They're using it to destroy your country. So, you know, like this is all stuff that like anybody at all that is voting, anybody at all that is patriotic, that gives a shit about the country, or even just not even the country, just like your people, whoever your family is, if you give a fuck, this stuff should be fucking important. It should matter, right? It doesn't matter to people because they're completely fucking inundated by money, right? Now with the live streams, they're not effective because the same way that people have been brain doped into turning everything around and making it into an idolization. That's the same thing that people have done with these streams, which has made it, and that's why I'm streaming in the dark. I wanted to give you a last stream and tell you why I don't want to do it, and why I'm pulling down the videos. It's so that you have the information. Everybody who saw it. They know what I said, right? They know what's going to come up in the future. and they know what to guard against. So you already have all the information. This shit is not about me. This is about you. The fucking world government is not about the fucking Marxists or the fucking BLM. It is about you. Okay? The war with China has nothing at all to do with China. It has to do with you. And these streams have nothing at all to do with me. They have to do with you. So when you guys are looking at me saying like, you know, we need your leadership, you've got to understand, I am literally no one. I am so fucking like scattered and do not have my shit together. I couldn't fucking lead myself into the bathroom, let alone lead you anywhere that would be effective. But you guys can, if you're willing to do it, right? If you're willing to do it, you can do it. Now, right now, the reason that I'm making this stream is because the mods and stuff, you know, they're you know, they're into the streams. They like them. They like the information, and they're learning a lot. And they, you know, people will send stuff, you know, like, because I'm not really browsing the news, so people will send me, you know, news blurbs and shit. And one of the mods sent me a news blurb about fucking Senator Cotton on Fox News bringing up the U.S. government is beginning to go after Chinese scientists in the United States. I touched on this a little bit. I started to, but I got kind of out of order. So the what is going on now is that the Chinese scientists that have been in place to the United States, along with sending all of your shit overseas so that you're fucking weak as fuck in the United States and you think that you're strong. You're not. You're basically anemic. You basically have bones made of glass right now. And they sent all of your fucking strength overseas and gave away all of your IP illegally, even though you have, you know, I know you got ITAR and like, you know, fucking trademark system and the copyright system. It's all fake. It's all fake. It's just to fucking steal your shit and then they're sending it overseas. And that's it. That's all that's going on. That's it. That's why fucking China has everything that you do, just in a shittier version, right? But they have more too, right? Because they were doing their own development of technology the whole time while you were doing this shit. So as you were slaving away, trying to make the cutting edge whatever, they could just start where you started and then put in their elbow grease and then take it wherever they wanted to go for their own purposes, right? That is the situation with China. Now, they do have their own limitations, right? But it's gonna fucking blow past us if you guys don't start making some serious changes. The government is not going to fucking help you because the government is absolutely 99.9% corrupt and a foreign government. Even the people that are there that don't know that are fucking idiots, and they're just as fucking dangerous as the people that are that are direct subversives that are there in the fucking control nodes. Again, it's all economic. But you now have stations like Fox News talking about how scientists have been identified that are being recruited to spy for China. Okay? Now, it's not just scientists, it's also journalists, right? It's also academia, it's also journalists. They haven't gotten that far yet. But it's all the highly visible positions that they've been placed in. Okay? And this is a part of the narrative for drumming up your existential conflict that is supposed to take place with China, that is going to draw on the entire world and is going to kill more people in a short period of time than any other war in human history that's recorded, and you're going to lose everything. So, you know, if you want to fucking sit around and fucking count Cracker Jacks, then, you know, go ahead. But if you're in any kind of position at all to be pushing any kind of buttons, now is the fucking time to be pushing buttons. Okay? Because if you don't push the buttons now, if you don't call in your favors, if you don't, I don't think that you are. I don't think you're going to do it. Okay? This is just me, like, you know, I'm just putting it out there so at least I can say I fucking said it. Okay? And I don't think that you're going to do it. I bet there's people watching this stream right now that fucking know senators that fucking could do all kinds of shit. I bet there's people out here that have giant networks of thousands and thousands of people that they could influence and pull in, and they're not gonna fucking touch it. And you're gonna watch it all fall. I'm telling you right now, you're going to watch it all fall. And then what's gonna happen is that you're gonna be put in a position later where you're gonna have to make really, you're gonna be motivated. If you didn't do anything right now, you're not gonna fucking rise to the occasion when shit is bad. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna make even shittier decisions, because the decisions that you're gonna be faced with are gonna suck so bad. You're just gonna be choosing between one shit sandwich and another shit sandwich, and you're gonna make decisions that are ultimately just going to end up putting you deeper in the hole and hurting people all around you. Because that's the way this system is designed. Okay? When it goes bad, it pulls everything in. That's how it is. Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way: if you wanted to know the nodes, like the power nodes, it's money. Like if we can't be creative at all, and by we I mean you, because I'm not even gonna get into it. But if you want to know what the nodes are, like in physicality, the nodes are economic. So pretty much, if you wanted to have one idea of what your enemy is, it is all the ways that money flows to the United States. That is like who is destroying the United States. Pretty much, no matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's like somebody that's dumb and doesn't even know, and they're just like, like serving that beast, and they're taking their paycheck, and they just don't look into they don't look up the skirt. It doesn't matter if it's them or somebody that knows exactly what's going on and is doing so nefariously, going to sleep at night knowing what they're doing. It doesn't matter. The effect is exactly the same, and that is what is destroying the country. So if you wanted to round it into a little package like that is it. Everything stems from that, right? Like the things that people complain about are secondary and tertiary byproducts of the money flow. Okay. What's the timeline? I don't know what the timeline is. I mean, you're very fucking close. I mean, you're basically like past the line of no return. There's no return. All that you can do now is try to make them not hurt you as much as possible. Yeah, so the money as a system, because we haven't talked about this much. So what money is, it is an abstraction that humanity has accessed, that is based in, if you tried to examine it as what it is, people would basically view it as an abstraction mixture between mathematics and psychology and like group psychology. Because you'd have a hive organism, and then you would have like an individual organism, much like a beehive, right? Like bees, like an individual bee's behavior is different than when they're operating in the hive, right? Money's the same way, but the reason why, it's not because it's psychology or mathematics. That is a very surface level thing. What is actually going on is that money is not from here, and this is where, most people will probably get lost. That's okay. I'm just going to give you the explanation. Money is from another dimension, meaning that it is not present in physicality. The bills that you use, or the specie coin, or whatever, the commodity that you use to represent it, that is physical. But what money actually is, in terms of its rules and the way that it functions, are not from this world. It is from a world, and by this world I mean a physical world that you take for granted as being the entire world. There isn't actually just a physical world. There are multiple worlds. You would think of them like dimensions, and they overlay with each other. And then humanity's serious error is like to stack them up in their transparencies and look through them as if it's one thing. And this causes pretty much all of our discomfort and suffering is from this error. And modern science doesn't acknowledge it. Like, pretty much nothing acknowledges it, with the exception of some religions. But it should be clear that money is not physical. Like, obviously the rules that it has, they're not present in the same way in physicality. They're irrational. It has its own function and mechanic, which is entirely separate and different from everything else. It's not like evolution, because evolution has, a purpose and is involuntary. Money is totally voluntary, and its ends are destructive always. Like, there is no finality to it in any map or timeline at all, under any circumstances, besides destruction. That is it. That is the only end, period. It's not possible. It's not possible for anything else. And that is because it is something that you are permitted to access, that is from somewhere else, that you have brought into your own home and willingly used, and used it against mankind, to attempt to wrestle the world into compliance in an apex system. And at the very top of the apex system would sit the master, right? Well, you're not really allowed to have a master. That's kind of that is the facet of why it leads to destruction, because you're not really allowed to. But you are given enough rope to hang yourself, and so that is the process that we are in now, and that is what is going to be different about this time than the previous times, because the previous times, it wasn't so saturated and final in its construction and nearing its apex. We are now at a point where we're nearing the apex of what has been constructed. Okay. Now, along with that, the other thing is that with the money, we have also had introduced like the control and misdirection of society for entire generations. And it goes down to the individuals, it goes down to destruction of families, it goes down to why there are infanticide clinics all over the fucking world, This is changing the image. Let me explain to you what's happening. What is happening when you control who's born and who dies, and when you control who gets incentive to repopulate, and when it becomes so saturated that it overtakes the entire planet in its system that's driven by the fuel of economics. You know what's happening? You are carving the image of man. That is what you are doing. And this is the primary absolute no-no that is in the Abrahamic code. And this is what they're speaking to. It's not speaking to you whittling a fucking wooden doll that looks like a fucking person, okay? It's about you changing the image of man from a direction that is not the direction that is permitted. And there are consequences to it, and you're about to find out what the consequences are. And that is ultimately what all this is about. And this is why it's gone this long, because up until now, the image of man has not been able to be shifted in such an absolute way. But now it is. And that is the no-no. Okay? That is the no-no. Someone can carve a sculpture of a man and have God in their mind the entire time, and it can be an absolute sanctification of God the entire time. They can have nothing but God in their sight the entire time. And now that we're moving into that, they have all of your DNA. They're going to not only are they shifting you in terms of your decision making like cattle, but they're going to start altering your fucking DNA, probably as a sterilization weapon. And this is also a no-no. Now it's going to occur. It's going to happen. It's going to be really bad. But this is the reason why all this is coming to a halt. Okay, this is what it's about. This is the ultimate folly that is going to result in what's about to transpire. And it will be a very slow and painful process that is not going to be stopped. Eugenics are just tangential to it. Eugenics are just one of the many side effects. I mean, it goes into everything. It goes into trying to create GAI. It goes into altering human DNA. It goes into group psychology and control of people, control of images, things like that. All of these things, it's all the same thing ultimately. The controlling of mankind into the apex system and influencing man's ability to rationally connect. What is going on right now is that the people that have shaped this world have made it so that you have to work more time than your time off, and so you don't have any time to find God at all. That is what's going on. You have no time to find God at all. You have so little time to find God that people write off God and say that there is no God. Okay, and you're moving into a place in the future where you're gonna have even less time. And this is what happens when man attempts to climb the throne and get into the throne. You can't get into the throne. It's not even physically here. You're not going to get into it. It's not even possible. And this is why you're going to get the Chama. Okay? You're going to get the wrath. And that's what's coming. You say Shalom, I say Chama. When you say Shalom, I say Chama. Right? There is no religion. This man says, this is strange to me as I'm an atheist, but believe the manifestation of religion. Well, there are no religions. There is only God, and there is only this world that people stand on to tell each other's religions are wrong. It's all manifest. It is all manifest. It is all into the system. The what is. This is what is. From the most lowly person that sees only material to the most lofty person that can't even stay in reality because they're gone all the time in their mind. The entire thing, all the way through. The reason that we can't know God It's because God hides. God is hiding. That is the reason that we can't know. Because it's not the will of God for us to know right now. That is going to change, and that's what you're waiting for at the end of this process. Everybody that's left is going to get a little bit closer. You're going to see the most extreme impossibilities are going to develop very quickly, and the velocity is going to pick up. And what you should be concerned about is your actions, right? What you should be concerned about is the way that you act. Not the way that you feel, but the way that you act. Because it's not going to feel good. I promise. Things are not going to feel good if you look at it from a material standpoint, the way that we've looked at everything this entire time. If you look at it that way as your metric, then you're going to be coming up pretty short. How you should look at it is that you're very lucky to be given the opportunity to be present in this time, because you are going to get to find out exactly who you are. I don't know if they'll go so far as to fake Mashiach. I think that it seems par for the course. I dare them. It's not just don't give. I said don't use DNA. Don't use DNA family history sites. Don't give your DNA to anybody at all for any reason. If somebody's taking DNA samples from you, saying that it's not because you're giving it to them, then do you really need to give them the DNA samples? Like, are you giving blood unnecessarily? Do you need the blood, that whatever blood is being taken, or do you just agree? You just say okay, and then you have no idea where the blood goes. The people that are taking your blood know where their blood goes. Does it get destroyed? Like, I mean, there's so many things, right? You gotta take control and stop listening to people. You know, stop listening to people. Stop listening to me if you want. If that'll get you started. If you stop listening to me and then stop listening to everybody else, we'd be 10 times better off than we are. If everybody in the world did that. Do not feel overwhelmed. What we are doing right now is I'm telling you exactly what I think. And if I'm connecting to you, then what's happening is that your threshold of expectation is being set at a different bar. And now you can use your imagination of what's coming, and you can begin to process it, and you can begin to understand that you can face this thing that's coming up with love or with hate. You can face it thinking about, are your actions right, or are they the right thing? I'm still making the music. I'm going to start focusing on that. That's why this is the last stream. I'm going to be taking some time to move a little slower and to try to let go myself. see this world out. Chickens are real good. They're doing real good. I will post some music, yeah. I'll put the music up. I'm kind of a little bit frustrated with the people that are running this world. And so I'm kind of thinking of turning it more towards a confrontational type of music here that I'm developing. Okay, but I wanted to give you guys an explanation of what's going on and why I pulled down the videos. Okay, and what to expect in the future and what to do now. If you got something out of of these videos being posted, then that's the only reason that I do them. It's for you. All right. All right. You guys have a good night. I love you. Have fun.